Breaking news here at noon. Clackamas County Commissioner Melissa Fireside resigns just 2 days after her indictment on felony charges for theft and forgery. Plus, crews are spending a second straight day in the gorge trying to pull what could be a key piece of evidence out of the Columbia as part of a cold case investigation that started close to 70 years ago. And police make an arrest that they hope will turn this North Portland neighborhood into a much safer place. Then later, a great getaway spot as spring gets closer, courtesy of Grant McComey in this week's edition of Grant's Getaways. KGW News at noon starts right now. Thanks for joining us. I'm Drew Carney. We have several breaking news stories to get to here this afternoon, starting in Clackamas County, where County Commissioner Melissa Fireside has resigned. Earlier this week, she was indicted on 8 felony charges, including stealing more than $10,000 from an 83-year-old man, forging his signature and the signature of a state representative, and forging close to $60,000 worth of promissory notes. Clackamas County Chair and former Sheriff Craig Roberts said he personally called Fireside and asked for her resignation. Roberts said in a statement, quote, "I recognize that for many this decision is not soon enough, and I know how difficult and upsetting this situation has been for our community. And I want to thank you for making your voices heard." During a county commission meeting yesterday, both residents and elected officials called for Fireside to resign. According to Oregon felony sentencing guidelines, she could face up to 10 years in prison if she's convicted. We're also covering breaking news in Southwest Washington, where Vancouver police say a man was shot on the Burnt Bridge Creek hiking trail. So that trail is located near Northeast Andreessen and 18th. Police say it happened just before 8 o'clock this morning, and the man who was shot suffered life-threatening injuries. They're using a drone and a police dog to help find the shooter. We'll update this story as soon as we learn more. Investigators in the gorge are trying to pull a car out of the Columbia River for a second straight day. That car could be a key piece of evidence in a decades-old cold case involving a Portland family that disappeared in 1958. Ashley Grams has been covering this story for us since early this morning. She joins us live now in Cascade Locks with the latest. Ashley?
Yeah, Drew, just in the last 30 minutes, investigators have put up this red tape asking us to stay back as they get closer to bringing this car out of the river. You can see that crane behind those vehicles. They're still in place. And as we watch this process from afar, we're also seeing new video of this car underwater from the perspective of the diver who found it. 50 feet below the surface of the Columbia River could be the answer to a decades-old cold case.
This car's been there 70 years, so lots has happened over that time.
Archer Mayo is the diver behind the underwater camera who made this discovery in Cascade Locks, Oregon.
I just took all the police clues, reordered them, came up with some different theories, and then dove until I figured out how the river was hiding the car.
Mayo believes the station wagon belongs to the Martin family. Kenneth and Barbara Martin and their 3 daughters drove out to visit the gorge in December of 1958. They never returned. Only the bodies of the 2 youngest girls were found miles away from each other in the river the following year.
The Sheriff's Department, all the agencies are being so great about really preserving what the evidence is that is in the car.
We've got the Oregon State Police Crime Lab involved as well. We'll process vehicles and determine what's inside of it if we can get it out in one piece.
For a second day, a barge with a crane sits in the canal as investigators and a dive team try to salvage what's on the floor of the river.
Oh, I think today will be the day.
And we're trying to give you a little bit of a closer shot of this crane from where we sit here across the field. You can see what it looks like that crane subtly moving at this point. We're told that anytime this afternoon, this car could be pulled from the river. We're expecting to see a station wagon at some point. And as we continue to get these live reports, we will bring them to you both on air and online.
For sure, Ashley, this story will continue to develop this afternoon. We'll bring our viewers the latest, as you mentioned, both here on TV and at KGW.com. All right, more news to cover here this afternoon, including this. After a year-long investigation, police say they've arrested a store owner in North Portland, all in connection with a drug trafficking case. 43-year-old Donald Sharma owns the Stop and Go Mini Mart next to Dawson Park, where there have been multiple shootings. drive-by shootings in recent years. That park also known as a common spot for drug deals. So police say community members came forward with allegations of criminal behavior in the mini mart. Their investigation found that drug trafficking at the store contributed to drug deals at the park, as well as gun violence in that area.
I'm so proud of the work the Police Bureau is doing and the sacrifice that the men and women are making, not just on their own, but with the community, with our leaders, learning and addressing problems through a data-driven approach that's producing results, as we saw in this search warrant.
And every time we announce something that's changing this year, it's one more pebble that continues to just aggregate together to really change the direction our city is going.
Hearing from Police Chief Bob Day and Portland Mayor Keith Wilson there. In the past 2 years, there have been a total of 8 shootings less than a block away from Dawson Park. All right, we're going to take a quick break from our news headlines here to turn things over to Rod Hill. Our first look at the forecast this afternoon as Rod joins us from the new KGW weather deck. What's up, Rod?
Yeah, we're up here in downtown Portland, sponsored by Rick's Custom Fencing. We have partly cloudy skies over the city. Standing here, I can feel a chilly southwest breeze, probably to about 15 miles per hour. Portland's actually one of the cloudier spots around the region, meaning if it's kind of cloudy where you are here in the metro area, there's a good chance that you'll see increasing sunshine. All right, let's take a look at a strip of clouds out in the Pacific. See that fetch where I have my blue arrows? This is a moisture stream that could start bringing rain to Seattle at times tomorrow, but right now looks like it will hold off until maybe Sunday evening for the Rose City, meaning we could stay dry until that time. More on that coming up in my forecast. Some live cameras for you. It's beautifully sunny in Lincoln City, our Schnuckwins Casino Resort camera. The temperature there holding at 49 degrees. Salem was one of the spots that was right around freezing this morning as we look at our state capitol live, and partly cloudy skies. Has warmed up into the 50s. You can see 52. And here's the Rose City camera looking across the Willamette at downtown Portland. Our lunchtime temperature is just now up to 50, thinking maybe we have another 10 degrees on us. Your day planner has us right around 60 at 4 p.m. and then cooling down closer to 50 toward 8 p.m. tonight. Absolutely dry the remainder of today and tonight. We'll have your complete forecast. Most of it's pretty good for the weekend. That's coming up.
All right, thank you, Rod. We also have a traffic reminder to get to this afternoon. Highway 99W at Sunset Boulevard in Sherwood will be closed between 9 o'clock tonight and 5 o'clock Monday morning. Flaggers will be out there this weekend to direct traffic around the closure. Crews are installing the arch span for a new bike and pedestrian bridge just to the north of Sunset Boulevard. That bridge is set to open up this fall, connecting the YMCA to Sherwood High School. Now at noon, police have identified the man killed in a shooting this week on North Williams Avenue. 32-year-old Cedric Washington was found dead when police got to that scene around 11:30 Monday night. Police, though, have not yet made any arrests in this case. Meanwhile, Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield says he's joining 20 other state AGs suing multiple federal agencies to stop mass firings of probationary federal employees. Rayfield argues that while termination letters cite poor performance, he says the firings are really just part of the Trump administration's effort to downsize the federal government. If more than 50 employees are let go, federal law requires a 60-day notice, but Rayfield says that didn't happen. In a statement, he also said, quote, "The stress this has caused federal workers in Oregon and across America is insurmountable, all because of a political agenda." He went on to say it's despicable, and we're hoping this lawsuit will bring these workers some form of justice. Coming up tonight, a Dateline exclusive. Convicted killer Lori Vallow Daybell sits down for her very first TV interview. From jail, she talks about the murders of her 2 children and explains why she believes she and her husband, Chad Daybell, will eventually be cleared of all their crimes.
Chad was convicted and he's on death row now.
I understand that, yeah.
But
They have some fascinating stories.
How could you possibly think that Chad would be exonerated after what happened?
The same way I will be exonerated. We will both be exonerated in the future.
Because?
I have seen things in the future that Jesus showed me when I was in heaven. And we were not in jail. And we were not in prison. And they were still in the future from now.
You can hear that entire interview in a special 2-hour edition of Dateline that airs tonight at 9 o'clock right here on KGW.